What is the proudest moment of your personal life and your working life?
In my personal life, I think it's a toss-up, or maybe it's shared, it's a tie, between when I've held fresh from the printer in my hands my first book of poems, and when I held in my arms my child. One child I have, and a wonderful child he turned out to be. Now a grown man, a man with a sense of humor and a sense of justice. So I would say that those are neck and neck over pride in the personal life. And in the professional life, I mean, as you could say that the Book of Poems belongs there, but it's a seamless life. Because I'm a writer, because I'm an artist, and because I'm an activist, it's not as though I go to a 9-to-5 job. I'll be working at 3 in the morning or on weekends or on holidays when other people, it's always great to work on holidays because other people go away and so the phone doesn't ring. So it's an upside down, much more free life, which I've chosen precisely for that reason. The sacrifice that you make is in terms of being solvent. So sometimes you're very poor, sometimes you're broke, sometimes you can't make the rent. What you're doing is buying time to write as an artist, and that's been worth it, very much so. In my professional life, maybe it isn't the proudest, but it's as close to it as I can come up with right now. I wrote a sort of prose poem called A Woman's Creed. I wrote it before the Beijing conference, and it was translated immediately into 13 languages, and it became sort of hotcakes and was all around. And I hadn't copyrighted it or anything, and I was delighted. And then a year or two later, I was in South Africa in the townships working with women and interviewing women. And I turned the corner in this tiny office, and I saw this poster up on a wall that was the creed. And I couldn't believe my eyes, and I turned to the woman who ran the shelter. This was a shelter for battered and raped women. And I said, where did you get that? Do you know what that is? Or she said, I don't know, somebody brought it in and we all fell in love with it. And I don't have any idea who wrote it, but whoever that woman is, she knows my heart. And this was a black African woman in Gugalutu Township. And I said, I wrote it. With tears coursing down my cheeks. And we looked at the bottom of it, and in very, 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 very tiny print, yes, it said, written by Robin Morgan, and the date, which was completely unimportant because the words had found their way to her, and had expressed her reality. And so we both cried and hugged, and all the women cried and hugged. That was a pretty good moment.